All right, guys, got a really cool package from Zorkbozz, and inside of there are what I think are two very interesting locks. First of all, I got a weakness for American locks, and secondly, I got a weakness for anything that has the U.S. stamp on it, symbolizing it was, property of the U.S. government at some point. These are interesting for another reason. They're from actually two different generations. They're both American padlocks, obviously. They belong probably to the Army. If you look at it, the logo on the American on the left is the earlier version, even though it's brighter. It's got a little corrosion on it. And then the one on the right is actually the newer logo. You can also tell by the keys. They have exactly the same keyway, except this is the older style key. And this squared off one is the newer style. So that's another way to tell them apart. There are some other differences. The pinning is different. The mechanism is different. Let me show you. When you look at the older one, you can see the Bible of the core right there on the top. And a lot of people speculate that these are replaceable. And they are, but you really have to drill that pin out in order to remove that core. So if you get one of these from eBay and no key, that's what you can do. Drill out that pin, pull the core out, rekey it, put it back, and then put another brass rod in there. Really cool. If you're learning how to pick serrated pins, this is the model you're looking for. The other one's pinned a little bit differently. The mechanisms are also different. For example, on this one, it's key retaining, spring-loaded shackle. When you turn the key, you turn it 90 degrees before it'll pop open. It is key retaining. So you got to push it back in there and turn the key to relock it. So 90 degrees on this one. Remember that, because the other one is quite different, quite a different mechanism. All right, let's go ahead and here's what your pinning looks like. Let's go ahead and see what we can do to pick this thing. All right, I'm just going to pop it right in there. Okay, these have a pretty wide open keyway. When I pick American locks, I like to use, or at least the military version, I like to use a 15,000th and work from the very bottom. If you get one of these old locks, you either want to lube it somehow, put some graphite in there, or my favorite WD-40, or just rake it and feel it. And if it feels like it's been taken care of, you'll feel those springs reacting pretty well. Top of the keyway. I'm going to use a 1.2 millimeter, it's about 32 thousandths. All right, what this lock will teach you, these are serrated pins. There's 4 serrateds and there's 1 standard, a total of 5 pins. This will teach you light tension, so very light tension. Slide it in there, and what you're doing is you're looking for the binder, and it feels like I got 1 binder back there. It feels like pin 4. What you want to do is give him 1 click, because these pins many times have multiple serrations. So 1 click and stop, and then go looking for another binder. And if you don't have another binder, you're going to go back to that one, pin 4. I'm on pin 3, so pin 4 I believe is picked. So let's try to pick 3, give him 1 click, and then go looking for another binder. And it feels like, can't figure if that's 1 or 2. I think it's 2. Got a little click on him. Okay, I touched 4, I got another click on him. That was an accident, but I might have just overset him. I'm again on pin 2. Got another click on him, binding. Okay, I'm going to use this ledge to try to get behind the tension bar and just check one. Sometimes I neglect to check that guy. And he still feels a little bit springy. So I'm going to go back and see if somebody else needs another click. Kind of like picking a combination lock, isn't it? There we go. There's pin 2. I got a very slight turn on the core. So I haven't picked 1 yet. He's my best bet. And there we go. We got it open. So these will definitely teach you light tension, and if you get good at picking these, you can pick pretty much any serrated locks. Let's go ahead and take a look at the other one now. Again, same markings, got the US, different key. Now, the bottom of this one is quite different than the other one. You can't see the Bible of the lock. Instead, you have these two pieces that are pinched in. There's no pin to drill out on these. So if you get one of these without a key, you're probably never going to have a key unless you pretty much destroy the lock and remove those two crimped in areas. A lot of guys say, and I'll notice when I turn that, lock it again, I only turn it about an 1/8. Doesn't go a quarter turn like the other one. So again, a different mechanism. Inside of there, you'll see the top, or actually the back of the Bible. You cannot remove. That is not a lever or something. I've seen guys ruin locks trying to get those cores out. You just can't, unfortunately, you can't recore these. There's the bitting on this one. We got a little bit of a challenge there. Let's see if we can get into this one. Move that out of the way. I'm going to use the same tensioner. I'm going to use the same pick. Same top of the keyway. Turn him just a bit, zoom in, because this one has not only a different mechanism, this one contains different pins as well. So I'm using from the bottom. See what we got. Find a binder. Pin 2. Got to click on him. Got to click on pin 1. There's pin 1 again. Pin 1 again. And now you'll notice we have a very deep fault set. All right, what does a fault set mean? Well, it means it's not serrated, it's not a standard, so it's got to be a spool. So these newer locks come with a mixture of pins to make it even harder on us. So now we're looking for counter rotation. I'm going to go from that ledge right there and try to find the spool pin. And it feels like pin 3, get a little counter rotation there. See that lever or the tensioner? Get under there. Okay, again, we're back to the fault set, so that means we got another spool. So we got one standard, 2 spools, and 2 serrated. I'm on pin 1, counter rotation, deep counter rotation. And there we go, 1/8 of a turn, and we got an open. So, if you want to move up and accelerate your learning, you can learn serrateds on these older guys and then learn the hybrid mix of pins on this newer one with the newer logo. So there you go, Zorkbozz. Thank you for 2 very, very interesting locks, at least to me, and if you're learning high security pins, you might find this interesting as well. Thanks guys, stay safe, stay legal.